Hello and welcome to the Career and Professional Development Center's virtual tour of the Neurodiversity Hub. The Neurodiversity Hub is an online platform that offers a plethora of helpful resources on the topic of neurodiversity, specifically as it relates to employment and academia. For context, the Neurodiversity Hub defines people who are neurodiverse as individuals who, quote, have neurological variations that make it particularly challenging for their communication, self-expression, and interactions with others. Neurodiversity is a broad umbrella and is not just autism. Neurological variations can include autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and tics. End quote. While the Neurodiversity Hub provides a wide range of resources covering various topics, today's brief tour will highlight some of the most salient resources that are relevant to students, job seekers, employers, and universities. All right, so now that we understand what neurodiversity is and what the Neurodiversity Hub has to offer, let's get started. Once you've reached neurodiversityhub.org, you'll see the screen currently being shared. At the top of the website, you'll notice a couple of headings in bold white script titled Info, Employment, Resources, Training, and Contact. To start, we are going to explore the Resources tab. On that Resources page, we will scroll down until we have reached a subheading titled For Higher Education Students and Job Seekers. Again, we'll click on that tab, and this will direct us to all the many resources provided for university students and individuals seeking employment. One of the first resources in this section that is important to note is Item 1, titled Transition to University. As this title implies, the pamphlets provided for download give guidance and information on how to transition into the university setting as a neurodiverse individual. Moving on to items 3, College Autism Spectrum, and item 4, College Autism Network, both links posted here provide comprehensive lists of universities with neurodiversity programs. The next resource we will focus on for this page is item 8, Guide to Employer Expos. Career fairs can be very open to individuals who are neurodiverse, so the link posted here provides students with information on what to expect, how to prepare, how to engage with employers, and what to do once the career fair is over. The next resource to pay attention to, item 12, is particularly pertinent to students who are neurodiverse. This item provides articles on disclosure. More specifically, these articles highlight the pros and cons of disclosure, as well as real-life experiences of disclosure, both at university and in the workplace. Finally, the last resource to add to our virtual inventory is item 13, Materials for Success in the Workplace. This item is a bit loaded, but one of the primary subsections to take note of is the Job Readiness Workbook. As indicated in the description, this comprehensive document guides students and job seekers through the process of writing a resume, prepping for interviews, requesting workplace accommodations, and much, much more. As noted previously, there are many more resources available to students and job seekers under this heading. It is encouraged that these be explored following the viewing of this virtual tour. Now moving on to the next section, we're once again going to hit that Resources tab up in the top right-hand corner and scroll down to the heading that reads, For Employers. The first resource to highlight here is item number 1, Neurodiversity Definition and Information. This title is self-explanatory, as the corresponding description and link provide some psychoeducation on the topic of neurodiversity. Following this, we're going to skip down to item 4, Tips for Employer Expos. As much as students can learn to prepare for these kinds of events, it is helpful if employers are aware of neurodiversity and can implement strategies to make their participation in career fairs more inclusive. Moving on, one of the bigger items to be mindful of on the employee page is item number 7, neurodiverse employment resources. There's a ton of valuable information listed here, including how to welcome neurodiversity at work, how to onboard neurodiverse employees, and how to make workspaces more inclusive. Along a similar vein, if an employer is looking for specific training tools on how to implement inclusivity initiatives, item 8, Optimize is a great place to start. Optimize is a company that provides training programs on how to effectively integrate inclusivity into a company's work environment. Additionally, they offer support to companies as they develop accessible hiring practices. The last resource to highlight for this section is item 13, employer training presentations. This resource provides more detailed information on managing a neurodiverse workforce and hiring and working with individuals who learn differently. Once again, this page has much more to offer and should be explored in greater detail as an employer who is seeking or interested in neurodiverse talent. Now for the final part of our virtual tour, we're going to again return to the Resources tab and scroll down until we reach the subheading that reads, For Universities. Once on this page, we'll begin by looking at item number 1, Transition to University. Like the resource available to students, this item provides higher education professionals with insight on how to support students who are neurodiverse as they transition into a university or college setting. Similarly, item 2, Supporting Autistic Students, offers a guide for what autism is, how to best communicate with students who are autistic, and common myths surrounding disability. Building off of these resources, item number 4, Neurodiversity Hub project at La Trobe University, offers tips on how to create inclusive university spaces and develop accessible teaching practices. Next, let's take a look at item 8, career fairs / employer expos, making them more inclusive. As much as students can prepare for these events and as much as employers can initiate inclusive participation, host organizations also have a responsibility to plan events that are accessible to all who choose to attend. The last item we will highlight on the university page is item 13, a guide for higher education professionals. This resource is particularly important because it outlines the successful practices and ideas that universities have established in the past to best support their students with autism spectrum disorder. Similar to the student and employee pages, the Neurodiversity Hub does a phenomenal job of listing a wide variety of resources under the university subsection. While we were unable to touch on all of them today, it is worthwhile to expand your exploration of this entire site in order to gain an increased understanding of how neurodiversity is being addressed both in academia and in the workplace. In wrapping up, we want to say thank you for taking the time to engage in this virtual tour. We hope that some of the resources highlighted here today can be of some assistance to you in the future.